The Mouse That Snored by Bernard Waber. Once there was a quiet man, as quiet as a mouse. He lived in the country in a very quiet house. The quiet man's quiet wife padded about in slippers. She never made the faintest sound, not even while zipping zippers. They had a cat named Mose, who went about on tippy toes, and even a parrot named Will, whose only words were, "Hush, be still." While Will on his perch would usually stare, Mose mostly slept on a parlor chair. The quiet man, the quiet woman, the quiet cat and bird ate their dinner, sipped their drink, and never spoke a word. Nor would they dare eat noisy food like crunchy celery, munchy radishes, or a snappy carrot, not even the parrot. They ate instead stewed tomatoes, mashed potatoes, and puddings made of bread. At bedtime they switched off the light and ever so softly whispered, "Good night." "Good night," said the man. "Good night," said the woman. "Good night," said Mose to Will. "Hush," said Will, "be still." And silently they slept, not a cough, not a sneeze. The only sound heard was the wind in the trees. One stormy night, while everyone slept, into the house a little mouse crept. He was a city mouse with city ways, who was tired and hungry and had seen better days. "Now for something to eat," said the mouse to himself, and he quickly found food on the pantry shelf. "I hear something," thought the woman, awake in bed. "I hear something," thought the man, raising his head. "I hear something," thought the cat in the chair. The bird opened his eyes and began to stare. The mouse, now sleepy himself and too full to eat any more, yawned, fell asleep on the shelf, and at once began to snore. And oh, what snores! His snores were roars with whistling encores, and each snore was louder than the snore before. He snored so loudly, pots and pans rattled and rumbled. A freshly baked cake immediately crumbled. The light fixture began to tremble and sway, which startled the cat, who kicked over a tray. Glassware clinked, dishes clattered, a bowl from the cupboard fell and shattered. The lamp on the bureau overturned, water in the fish tank gurgled and churned. Shutters flew open, noisily banging. A picture dropped from where it was hanging. Furniture danced about the floor. A parlor chair went out the door. And bouncing on his perch, poor Will frantically screeched, "Hush, be still." The snores were so loud, the house began to quake. The snores were so loud, the mouse was shaken awake. The mouse opened his eyes, looked about in surprise, and could hardly utter a word. For standing before the mouse with the snore was the man, the woman, the cat, and the bird. Quick on his feet, and to break the ice, the mouse said, "Your house is very nice. And oh, my gracious, this pantry is spacious. And I've never quite seen anything like this soup tureen." "Hush!" screeched the bird, "be still." "Tell us," said the man, "if you will." "Why are you here?" said the cat. "Yes," said the woman, "please explain that." "Very well," said the mouse, "I will explain. It was all because of that cold, cold rain. It was the storm that drove into your house a lost, frightened, hungry, drenched to the whiskers, ever so tired, wandering, homeless mouse." "Ah," whispered the woman, "how sad." "Ah," whispered the man, "it's really too bad." "And now I will go," said the mouse, "sorry to have stirred up this fuss." "Nonsense," they cried, "you will stay here with us." And so they took the mouse into that very quiet house. He was taught to speak in a hushed whisper, and to sound out his words softly but crisper, to sit quietly in his chair and never rattle the silverware, to make sure to laugh in very soft chuckles, and once and for all stop cracking his knuckles. One thing they taught him, they made him feel proud. He learned to sneeze, but not out loud. Soon it was clear for all to see. He was as quiet as a mouse ought to be, except when he was asleep. For then, even louder than before, the mouse continued to snore and snore. All through the house his snores could be heard, but not by the man, oh no, and not by the woman, no, 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 and not by the cat or the bird, no, 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 no. They slept peacefully and cozily as bugs. For now each goes to sleep wearing earplugs. The end.